Due to the graphic nature of this podcast, listener discretion is advised. Episodes may include discussion of abuse, murder, sexual assault, and other incidents that some people may find offensive. We'd advise extreme caution for children under 13. It was 8:30 a.m. when two bricklayers and a resident in an adjoining house heard gunshots and spotted a woman clad in nightwear rush towards a vehicle which was parked at the entrance of a mansion, only to be shot again a second time by a second man following her and dragged back into her residence by a third man. They then heard screams and 3 more gunshots. The car outside then took off in a hurry. One of the men the eyewitnesses identified was the stepson of Shirley Boonwaat, the son of Ambassador Sao Boonwaat from a prior marriage. What happened next? A source from within the Boonwaat household claimed that even after the shots were fired at Shirley Boonwaat, Lady Boonwaat was still alive, although extremely critical. The gates of Carlton Lodge opened, and the Boonwaat's vehicle was spotted leaving the residence. At 9:30 a.m., a mere 1 hour after the initial gunshots, the same vehicle was seen parked in front of the Borella Cemetery. Shirley Boonwaat, who was still alive, lay in the back seat of the vehicle unconscious. What happened next will shock you. It was believed that Ambassador Sao Boonwaat approached a gravedigger from the Borella Kanatta and attempted bribing him to cremate his wife, who still happened to be alive in the back seat of his vehicle. The gravedigger refused to go along with the plan, and Sao Boonwaat was said to return home, where Shirley Boonwaat eventually passed away. Despite the 3 eyewitnesses, in a mere 4 hours, all traces of the socialite were erased without a trace. Although these eyewitnesses reported the gunshots, the Boonwaats claimed diplomatic immunity, and the Sri Lankan police were not allowed into the premises. The household acted fast. Dr. Elsie Mendes, who was called upon, certified that the death was caused by cerebral hemorrhage due to the hypertension and requested a post-mortem to be done, but the ambassador refused. The doctor later told police that upon arrival, he discovered Shirley Boonwaat's body at the foot of the staircase. Raymonds was summoned and a cremation was arranged for 1 p.m. on the same day. Maurice Raymonds, who wanted to take the measurements of the corpse for the coffin, was not allowed. The undertaker told the police that he had been told that the body measured 5 foot and 3 inches. A mere 4 hours after her demise, Shirley Boonwaat was reduced to ashes. Ambassador Boonwaat took full advantage of his diplomatic immunity. The funeral procession consisted of her husband, young children, and a handful of friends who were not completely aware of how she met her tragic end. Upon investigation, the police found motive. Shirley Boonwaat was a victim of child marriage to Sao Boonwaat, who was nearly 30 years her senior. Several of her close friends reported she had been unhappy in her marriage. She was a victim of domestic violence and ill treatment and had reportedly had to be taken to nursing homes for treatment on several occasions. Despite her trouble at home, Shirley was described as lovely, wonderful, and full of life. She had quite the social life, which led her to meet her next paramour. She met Rex de Silva of the Rhythm Dukes at Blue Leopard, where he was playing at in October of 1964, 3 years before she met her untimely death. The two were soon close friends, and she confided in him about her sorrows and troubled marriage. Rex de Silva reportedly moved into the ambassador's residence for a year until there was a bullet fired at him that missed. He soon moved out of her home, only to be assaulted by the ambassador's goons several days later. While the Burmese embassy officials kept silent over the death of the wife of Boonwaat, Sri Lanka's defense ministry made several attempts for a breakthrough to justice. They grounded any flights that would try to fly any personnel out of the island. Both CID and customs were ordered to stop any attempt by the Burmese to board any plane or ship. Immigration officers were flown to the airport in KKS as a preventive measure against any attempt by Burmese personnel to slip through the security net. They placed immigration, customs, and CID men on a 24-hour alert at all ports and airports. A week later, 4 senior government officials arrived from Rangoon, Burma, and had meetings with their counterparts. The police briefed them on evidence gathered so far. The case was then handed over to the Rangoon authorities to take to trial, and Ambassador Sao Boonwaat was soon allowed to fly back to Burma. Although there was a trial held in Rangoon, there has been no evidence of Ambassador Boonwaat being sentenced. He is believed to have been set scot-free. Ambassador Boonwaat got away with murder. As for Shirley Boonwaat, even today, there have been reported sightings of an unidentified woman mingling with the crowds at Capri Club, yet soon disappearing into the night. Some report visions of a woman drifting by with anguished and heart-rending screams. Murder, She Cried, hosted by Stephanie Herft, is a Paradeim original. It's executive produced by Zishan Akram Jabir. Podcast cover art by Randitha Philip with production assistance by Rajit Maligaspe. This episode of Murder, She Cried was researched, written, and fact-checked by Stephanie Herft. To hear more from me, follow me at Steffi Herft on Instagram and TikTok.